Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. As part of the previous panel, we're supposed to have had Otto Cannon, UK representative, World Sustainability Organization. Cannon, we have this window for you to do your presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, the UK rep, World Sustainability Organization, Mr. Otto Cannon. A round of applause, please.
I bring you special greetings from my boss, Paulo Grey, who's the founder and executive director of Friends of the Earth, Friends of the Sea, World Sustainability Organization. Before I commence, I want to warmly commend the organizers of this laudable event. In recent years, there's been a fast rise in population across the world and specifically in Uganda. According to the United Nations, we can see from my slides that the current population of Uganda is about 49 million. And when there's a rise in population, there's always an exponential increase in consumption. And consumption affects our land, affects our sea, in our strive for food. So Uganda is blessed with arable land, fertile land for farming. And the statistics show that one of the highest exports out of Uganda is coffee. One of the speakers on the just concluded panel said that on the global scale, Uganda ranks about 8/9 of coffee producers and exporters. But from my scale, we see that according to the International Coffee Organization, Uganda is ranked 7th in the world. A round of applause for Uganda for that. That's a big deal. When it comes to coffee production, Uganda is ranked 7th. But you see that with the size of land used to farm coffee and cocoa, on my previous slide, you see that Brazil topped the chart. And with regards to the size of land, Uganda uses far more plots of land to farm coffee and cocoa. Which means that when a large portion of land is used, automatically there will be deforestation. So you see, Brazil produces far more than Uganda in terms of output, in terms of yield, but Uganda uses far more plots of land to farm. On this slide, you see that the yield produced, that's the yield in terms of quantity and quality. Brazil is still far ahead. Brazil and Vietnam, they are far ahead on the scale. Considering that Uganda made it to the top 10 of cocoa and coffee producers, there would still be somewhere around top 10, but this is a chart that shows the top 5. I want us to pay close attention to this slide. I wish I had a pointer, so I'll point specifically on the graphs I'm talking about. But if you pay close attention, you'll see that there's a change in coffee production. And on the first country, which is Brazil, you see that they had a growth. Please, I want us to pay attention because this slide is very important. You see that on the first country, Brazil, there was a rise in coffee production. When you look at the last country on that scale, on that slide, you see that Uganda also had a rise, which is credit to Uganda. We know that, of course, Uganda has set for themselves a goal to increase and improve on their coffee production, and this categorically shows that they are winning on that. When you look at the second line, you see change in coffee harvest area. Brazil reduced the size of land they used to farm, but you see Uganda increased. So the higher yield Uganda gets in coffee production, it automatically means that they'll use more size of land. And you agree with me that the more the size of land, the more deforestation would occur. I will just quickly run by. According to the National Forest Authority, Uganda has the third highest deforestation rate in the world. Uganda has lost 41.6% of its forest cover. And these are some of the social, economic, and environmental challenges faced by Uganda. Because there's been deforestation, we automatically have loss of biodiversity. Some of the speakers that spoke earlier on talked about the beautiful, vast array of animals, ecosystem, biodiversity. I can see one of the banners, one of the backdrop banners shows the beautiful animals. But when there's deforestation, automatically there will be loss of biodiversity, and we don't want that to happen. There's been soil erosion and degradation of water quality and supply. I will just quickly run by, but there's been a lot of challenges in recent times. There's an initiative to increase yield and reduce environmental impact. I was speaking with one of the exhibitors downstairs, and he talked about eco-friendly fertilizers, organic fertilizers. That is one of the measures to take to increase yield, reduce environment impact, and most importantly, which is why I'm here, is eco-friendly labels, eco labels. So eco labels basically shows that your product and your process, your manufacturing process, is adhering to all the environment standards, adhering to all the production standards. And as much as there are several certifications, some of these certifications and eco labels look out for quality, which is quality control. Some look out for deforestation. Some look out for the kind of fertilizer you use. But ours encompasses all of this. While studying, I realized that Uganda exports 65% of its coffee and cocoa to Europe alone. Most of the Ugandans and the farmers here will agree with me. 65% of Uganda's coffee goes to Europe. And recently, there's been a law. It's big in Europe and America. It's still developing in other parts of the world. But considering that Uganda sells 65% of its coffee and cocoa to Europe, it's very pertinent that Uganda producers and farmers here to eco labels. So the law imposes that any product, any brand that is affecting the forest, that is directly or indirectly leading to deforestation, would not be imported, would not be sold, and if any product of such makes its way into Europe, the producers will be sanctioned. You see that America, which is a gray-colored circle, and Europe, which is a green-colored circle, are very big with this policy right now. Other parts of the world are still following. And there's a lot of these eco-labels. There's several. You see, some are for organic, some for forestry, wildlife, water, CSR, that's corporate social responsibility, some for forestry. But the beautiful thing is that some stand out, some encompasses all of these things. I spoke to some of the producers behind and they say, oh, well, I've got this label already. Someone said he's got a label for quality control and he felt that would cover for it. I told him, no. There's a lot of things to look out for, a lot of benchmarks, a lot of indices, and these are some of the labels that stand out globally. They've been verified, licensed, accredited by the international accreditation bodies and the national accreditation bodies. I'm speaking of Friends of the Earth. The benefits are numerous. Because of time constraint, I won't really go into that. But I think regarding realizing the fact that our label, our certificate cuts across all the indices, all the benchmark, all the yardsticks that are looked out for, it's very pertinent that every producer, every farmer, every exporter right here present should consider having friends of the earth. All of these are the benefits. I would implore you all to consider it. I will be looking out for your questions. I'll be looking out to talk to you. But one thing I want to leave you all with, which is something my boss is very big on, is the fact that 30% of our budget and profit goes into advocacy, sensitization, conservation projects all over the world. We have multiple projects: Save the Forest, Save the Rhinos, Save the Elephants. That's because we are very concerned, very passionate, very committed to seeing that beyond profit making, this issue of sustainability becomes a lifestyle, becomes a culture. Because a lot of people, since these laws have been made, we should just know that it's what has to be done. And I'll leave you with a phrase my boss always uses. He says, sustainability is not about living with less. It's about living at a balanced level. It's about replacing what we can replace and leaving the world a better place. Thank you very much.